Good. Hello, first graders. This is Miss Carter, and I am going to read you a story today. But before we do, let's look at this anchor chart. And before, after, and while you're reading a story, you should ask and answer questions. Why? You may be thinking, well, to get information, to help you understand the text, and to practice being awake and thinking while reading, to be curious and wonder as you read. How do you ask questions? Ask yourself, who is the story about? What is the story about? Where is the story taking place? Why did the author write the story? When did they write it? When is the story taking place? And how was it written? How are how are the characters feeling? Look around in the text and pictures for evidence or details to help you answer. And I'm going to show you how to do this today. We're going to read who put the cookies in the cookie jar. Now, this is an informational text, and it's nonfiction. It gives facts about a topic. Look for facts about the world and ways pictures and words give you information about the topic. Ask questions before, during, and after you read to help you understand the text and get information. Look for evidence in the text and pictures to answer your question. Some of the power words are spoon. I have a spoon right here. Against, churn, drive, stock, and heal. You can listen to the audio to find out about the illustrator of who put the cookies in the cookie jar. Now, the illustrator is the person who draws the pictures, the artist of the story.
Juna Pashkus has illustrated more than 20 books. Many of her books have won awards. Growing up, Miss Pashkus's parents encouraged her to read, draw, and be creative. Miss Pashkus loves making things like paintings, designs, patterns, and even bread. Sometimes she has shows to display her paintings and other creations. Miss Pashkus lives in Seattle with her husband.
Who put the cookies in the cookie jar? All right, I want you to look at the pictures. You see a little boy and a little girl. Look at all these hands. You see this hand, a little hand, a big hand. Take a look at the next page. We're just kind of previewing. Look at what the people are doing on this page. I wonder what this man is making. I wonder what this lady is making. Lots of different people, aren't they? I want you to stop for a minute and in your mind, make a prediction of what you think is going to happen in the story, what you think the story is about. I can tell by the title that it's going to be something about cookies. Let's read it and find out if your prediction was correct. One hand in the cookie jar takes a cookie out. How many hands put the cookie in is what the world's about. Hands that mix and stir the dough, spoon the clumps into a row. Hands that make the cookie sheet, oven mitts against the heat. Wow, so you need someone to mix the dough. You need someone to make your cookie pan. And you also need someone to make your mitt so that when you're getting your cookies out the oven, it didn't burn you. Hands that feed and milk the cow, churn the butter, and guide the plow. Wow, I hadn't thought about that. You need some of the ingredients like milk come from the cow, and then you need butter, and someone has to make the butter, don't they? Hands that sow and grind the wheat into flour for us to eat. Hands that tend and feed the hens, gather eggs, and build the pens. So boys and girls, let's just stop and think about that for a minute. So to get your cookies, you need someone to plant seeds, and here's this man planting the seeds. You need someone to grind the wheat, and this little boy and this woman, they're using that stone to grind the wheat. You're going to need some eggs to put in your cookies, so you're going to need somebody to gather the eggs and take care of the chickens. You're going to need a pen for your chickens. So all of these people help to make cookies. Hands that harvest sugar cane, cut and grind, load the train. Hands that load the trucks and drive, stock the shelves when things arrive. Hands that clothe and feed them all, heal and teach, large and small. Hands that help, the hands that help, are what the world's about. Many put the cookie in, so one can take it out. And boys and girls, look, this gives you a recipe for all the things you would need to make sugar cookies. You need sugar, you need some butter, you need an egg, you need some milk and vanilla and some flour and baking powder, all kinds of ingredients. And that just lets you know that there's a lot that goes into just every little thing that we eat. And a lot of good community helpers and a lot of good people work together to give us that final product. Now, think about this. What was your prediction? Did you think it was going to be about all the people that help make cookies? I kind of didn't. I thought it would be more about maybe cookie decorating. I didn't know, so I was surprised to read that it was about all the people that help make cookies. What are some more questions we can ask? Think at home and generate questions that you might have about the story or more things that you'd want to know about it. So now what I want you to do at home is I want you to get a sheet of paper out and draw a picture of one person in the story that you think it was helpful. Maybe it was the person planting the seeds. Maybe it was the man that was making the pan or the woman sewing the mitt. Think of all the community helpers in this story that help make the cookies. Draw a picture of that person. Show what they do to help make the cookies. Once you do that, I want you to write a thank you note to the person. Tell why what they do helps make the cookies. And don't forget, when you're writing, when you write, you might say, I want to thank you. When we use the word I, it always begins with, it's always a capital letter, no matter where it's at in the sentence. All right. So when you draw the picture of your person from the story that you thought was the most helpful and maybe most interesting, write them a thank you note. Like I would put, dear, I want to think of somebody, one of the interesting things. Dear farmer, thank you for taking care of the chickens so that I, see the capital I could have eggs to make cookies. Your friend, Miss Carter. Now you may pick a different person, but I think the farmer was a good person who helped to feed the chickens and take care of the chickens, and so we could have eggs. Draw your picture and write a thank you note. And don't forget, share it with your teacher. And always ask questions when you're reading stories. Goodbye. See you next time. Keep reading.